Hi, welcome to the Corner of Knit and Tea, episode 15. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at the Corner of Knit and Tea, and that's where this episode's show notes will be. I have an Etsy store, which is the Stash Buckler, Adventures in Yarn. And we have a Ravelry group now. Look for us at the Corner of Knit and Tea and come join us over there. So hi, welcome back to episode 15 and welcome to all my new viewers. It is Sunday, November 16th. It is chilly outside. We were supposed to have what they were calling a snowstorm this weekend and we got very little. It was just flurries, but it's been in the 20s and 30s and kind of chilly all weekend. So I have tried to not go anywhere and stay in my pajamas and bundled up. And it has been a really nice weekend. It's just been real quiet. We are getting ready for holidays. This week, at the end of this week, Friday and Saturday, I will be at the craft show, the Creative Hand Show and Sale. And if you're local to Kansas, come check us out. There will be information on my blog about that, or you can look on Facebook at the Creative Hand Show and Sale. So I will be busy with that. This weekend I've been busy getting all of my inventory ready, and I posted a few pictures on Instagram of that if you're interested. And then right after the craft show, literally that evening, we are going to get in the car and drive to California to see my family. So we will be gone for a little while, and I am very much looking forward to Thanksgiving and vacation time and getting to see my family, including Miss Roxy. And so it's going to be busy for the next couple weeks, but I am very much looking forward to it. The podcast will be a little bit displaced in the next couple weeks because I won't be able to record next Sunday because we'll be in the car. I hope to record a few segments throughout our trip and then post something maybe Tuesday or Wednesday next week right before Thanksgiving. So stay tuned, but it will be a little off for the next couple weeks, and then I expect that everything will be pretty much normal through the end of the year. We are doing Christmas at my house this year, so it will be pretty quiet, and I shouldn't be away from the podcast too much. And I'm hoping that I'll get lots of knitting and spinning done. I'm kind of declaring December or late December as me time because I've been busy doing some gifts and some other things and getting everything ready, and so I'm looking forward to casting on a few projects for myself. Not that I'm not doing some right now, but I'm looking forward to it. So let's get going today. Today I am sipping Stash Wild Raspberry Hibiscus Tea, and this actually came in as a sample in a package that I got of fiber. Somebody sent me a really nice sample of tea, so I am excited to try this. And I am sipping this in, the mug is not too exciting. My sister gave it to me last Christmas. It says, "I love Aunt Laura," and it was from Roxy. So I'm sipping that today. Ooh, that's really nice. It's sweet, very fruity, so those of you who prefer more of a solid black tea, it's probably not for you, but it's nice. It is a caffeine-free, so it would be good even before bed or as a dessert tea. So that is what I'm sipping today. Which brings me to what I'm wearing. I am wearing, let's see if I can get you to see, there we go. I am wearing the Climbing Vines pullover. It's by Joelle Roux, and it was in an Interweave Knit magazine. It is available for purchase individually. I want to say it was Interweave 2008, 2009. I actually knit it for my Olympic project in 2010 for Vancouver. I knit it while watching the Olympics, and it is out of Kathmandu Aran, which unfortunately, Queensland Kathmandu Aran, which unfortunately they no longer make. It is a merino cashmere silk blend, and I have to say it's held up pretty well. It is my favorite go-to sweater when I'm just hanging around the house or need something cozy and warm. It has stretched out just a little bit over the years, and it pills a little bit, which is probably because of the cashmere, because it's very short stapled, but it is warm and cozy and soft, and it is probably one of my favorite sweaters to wear, and it is perfect for hanging out at home on a snow day. or on a cold day and just kind of hanging around the house. And it of course is in my favorite color, which is a teal. And I can't recommend this pattern highly enough. It was really nice. It was one of the first sweaters I did with set-in sleeves because it's done in pieces. And it was just really fun to work on, and I enjoyed it, and I love it. I wear the heck out of it. So I can definitely recommend it, and I still have my eye on some bags of the Kathmandu Erin on D-Stash because it is just a wonderful yarn, and I am sorry that they no longer make it. They might still make it in a worsted. I think they just discontinued one of the weights of it, but I'm not entirely sure. So that is what I'm sipping and what I'm wearing, and I guess we'll move on. So the biggest project by far in my knitting is my Nanny Swamo sweater. It is Porphyra by Amy Miller, and the yarn is Miss Babs Yowza, and in the colorway Tulipa. And I did not get done quite as much as I wanted to do, but I'm still happy with my progress. I have now finished the body. It is nice and long, and I actually modified the bottom of the sweater, called for an I-cord bind off at the bottom, and after consulting with some friends at Knit Night, I decided I wanted to do some ribbing. So it's got a few inches of ribbing down at the bottom, which I think will make it match the other edges of the sweater. I finished this, I want to say midweek, maybe Wednesday-ish, and no, I finished it Thursday, and I got going on the sleeves, and I have sleeve number 1 done. So it is time to start on sleeve number 2. I'm hoping to finish that in the next couple days, which will then just leave me the thick collar. It's supposed to be, and button band, it's all one piece, and it's supposed to be 5 inches wide. So I still have quite a bit of knitting to do, but I'm very pleased with my progress. Just as an interesting note, on the body, so I have 3 skeins of Yowza, each skein being 560 yards, so I have about 1,600 yards of Yowza, and or a little bit more than that. And for the body, I decided to alternate 2 skeins, which I think it looks really nice. I don't really see so much, I guess sort of in this light, you can see subtle striping. I didn't notice it so much, but it's got a really nice little bit of variegated little pops of lighter sections and darker sections. I used the 3rd ball for the sleeve and decided not to alternate because I find that knitting in the round, when you're alternating, you have the part where you carry the yarns up inside, and I find it makes it's hard to get your tension correct along that area, and sometimes it pulls it tighter, or sometimes, so you have kind of like a little seam under the sleeve, or sometimes there's a little break. If you try and leave it too loose, there's a little break, and so you can see holes. So I decided to just kind of be lazy and use the 3rd skein on the sleeve. The sleeves will match each other. So I knit the sleeve in the last couple days, and I looked at it today, and I think you can see it. There's a lot less variegation. There aren't the little light pops. So there is kind of a little line between the body and the sleeve right about where my nose is. And the sleeve itself is much more solid than the body. And I showed my husband, and he was like, I see, but I don't see what the problem is. I tend to agree with him. I don't think it's a huge problem. However, this is why you alternate skeins, because if I had done this in the body with one of these skeins, it might have been very dark pinstripes in there, and I don't know whether I would have liked that. So, yeah. So I'm using this one for the other sleeve, so the sleeves will match each other even if they don't 100% match the body. And then I haven't decided what to do with the collar yet. I have a little bit more of the skeins that I used to do the body, and then I also will have some leftovers from this skein, and I just haven't decided whether I'm going to alternate or whether I might use 3 at once, which is a little bit more complicated but might be the best for the color match. I just haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, and I have a few more days to come up with it, so I'm just going to sit with it. So that is, again, my Nanny Swaymo sweater. I hopefully will be able to model it for you at some point in the not too distant future. My goal is to finish this by the 30th, and I'm hoping that my sister will be able to take some nice pictures of me in the sweater in my parents' yard. I did that a couple years ago when I finished a Nanny Swaymo at Thanksgiving, and the pictures she took were fabulous. She's got a really artistic eye, and so sometimes when I ask my dear husband to take pictures of me in the sweater, he is very focused on getting my face in it. And as if you're a knitter, you know that sometimes when you're wearing a garment, the purpose is not your face, the purpose is the garment. I keep telling him that the only time it's okay to sort of focus the camera lens right here is when I'm wearing a garment, because I want the garment to take center stage. Anyway, my sister took a fabulous photo of my Nanny Swaymo sweater a couple years ago with some flowers in my parents' backyard, and I love it. So I think I'm going to ask her to photograph me in this one. So that is mostly what I'm working on. I am still working on Groovy. Groovy for most of this month has been my work project. That is the Groovy Shawl by Jumper Cables Knitting, and I'm knitting it in Twisted Fiber Arts and Evolution on the aerial base, which means it's a gradient skein, and it's the colorway Velvet. And as you can see, I've gotten a little further. Last week I was kind of just where the brown and the purple were intersecting, and now I've done some purple and I'm going into red. And I'm still very much liking this and very happy with this. And I don't have too much left. I'm getting down to towards the end of the ball. I can't tell. It's got some red in there, and then it's got some pink on top. I guess that's probably a good way you can kind of see what's left. My feeling is based on someone else who knit the shawl with this gradient. I am in the 20th section right now. If you count each of these little welted sections as a section, I'm in the 20th section. The pattern calls for 24. I suspect I'll have enough to get through 22 or maybe start 23, but that's probably all I will have, and I will just knit till I run out of yarn and call it a day. So I really don't have too much more, although the rows are pretty long at this point, so they're taking me a little while. I don't plan to get a lot of time in on this week, but I do plan on taking it with me on our travels and using it as car knitting. So I expect that I will have this one done by the end of the month as well, and I would really like to. So that is Groovy. And that is the second project that I've been working on. Now, late this week, I started to get a little panicked because I still have some knitting that I would like to do before I see my family, and my time is short. The projects are small, but my time is short, and I've been devoting most of my time to the sweater, particularly at home. So I decided that I needed a new work project, which is something that's little, something that I can pick up and put down, you know, work on a little bit on my lunch hour, not have too much trouble. And I wanted to knit, I knit a while ago a ribband, which is a beaded necklace / bracelet cuff by Laura Nelkin. And I knit one for myself and showed it on the podcast. It was kind of a forget-me-not blue with sea glass kind of colored beads. I don't know if you remember that, it's in my projects. And I had decided that I wanted to knit one of those each for my mom and my sister for the holidays. So again, it's 10 yards of yarn and a bunch of beads, and it's a pretty simple knit, but I needed to start on it. So what I did this week, Thursday night, I sat down with a couple different balls of yarn and the bead spinner, and loaded the beads onto the yarn and brought it to work. And on Friday I started one of them. This is some leftover String Theory caper sock yarn in the Taviki colorway, and the beads are Miyuki. They're Japanese seed beads, and they're in a matte emerald. And so often I'll take the yarn colors with me. I'll take little bits of yarn with me when I go to look for beads, but sometimes I have to buy beads online, or I'm wandering through, we have a bead store that's closing and they keep saying they're closing, and I keep wandering through and picking up a few things and they're still open. So I haven't quite figured that out yet. Anyway, so I'll pick up beads, and sometimes I'll pick them up without having a coordinating yarn in mind, and then I'll come home and go through my stash and see what I can find. And sometimes I just get really, really lucky at the combination and how it looks together. So this one is, like I said, it's String Theory to Viki, and it is emerald beads, and this is what I was able to do this week. And I really, really think it's a good match. So I'm trying to get it as close as I can so you can see it. So I've done maybe 6 inches. I need to have more than that, but this was just 1 lunch hour, so I expect a couple more lunch hours and I will be done. And I got clasps. I just got, this one's just a circle, and then I've got the little bar for the other side. I just picked up a bunch of these at Joann's so I could make a bunch of these. So I've got the bar. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I have that one underway, and I need to do one more for my, for a second gift for while we're out there. So I'm going to do that. And then I actually wanted to do one for my sister-in-law as well, so I wound up yarn and beads for that. So you will be seeing some of those on the podcast, I'm sure. This, again, will probably be great car knitting, because once the beads are on, they can't fall off because they're already pre-strung on the yarn. So this was easily a car project. So that is my third and final project. The other thing that I am trying to get done before we, or before the end of Thanksgiving is my sister asked if I could knit Roxy a few sets of mittens, or she asked for some mittens, and I decided that I was going to knit her a few mittens with an I-cord that will run through her coat, so that if she takes them off, the mittens will just dangle rather than being lost. So I have a couple pairs of those to knit, and again, portable car knitting. So I plan to take lots of small projects with me, and hopefully will have plenty of time to knit them. I suspect I will, even while I'm there. And as far as the mittens go, they're not really a gift. So if I mean, they're a gift, but they're not really like a holiday gift, because I had already knit Roxy's and stuff. So if I finish those while we're in California, I can just give them to my sister to take home. And worst case, I won't finish, and I'll just have to mail her some. So that is my knitting this week, and kind of what I'm aiming to do in the next little bit. I also have a few things that I am anxious to cast on, and because we're driving and because I'm insane, I'm probably going to pack a couple other projects just in case I have time, because oh my god, if I ran out of yarn, what would I do? It's not like I'm not gonna stop at Tempe Yarn and Fiber, and like I might not stop at a store that my friend recently opened in Los Angeles. It's not like I couldn't find yarn somewhere or read, but oh, I cannot run out of projects to knit. Not at all. So let's keep going with spinning. Last week I showed you the bats that I was going to spin from Dripping Fiber Studios. That's Kim. And I talked a little bit about the different fiber prep between bats and combed top. I have finished, although I have not washed, so it's not 100% done, and it's a little curly, like it really needs a good wash to set. But I finished those bats, and what I got was a yarn that's kind of lavenders and purples and reds and browns, and you can see little bits of silver sparkle in there. It's not like crazy sparkly yarn, but it does have some sparkle. And I'm really, really pleased with this one. I don't know exactly what kind of yardage I got yet, because I really need to wash it before I can figure that out. But as a guess, probably around 350 yards. So, and that will be going up in the shop. I need to wash it and let it dry, so my guess is probably Tuesday. And then I will be taking the shop down Thursday night to go for the craft fair, and it will remain down probably until Thanksgiving. I will put it back up for Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a little sale. I think I need to figure out what's left after the craft show, and then I will put it back up so that if you need a last minute kind of gift or something for yourself to knit, it will be open and ready to go for the last few weeks before the holidays. Mostly I'm just closing it because I won't be home to ship and I don't want to do a delay on that. So yes, that is what I spun this week. Which brings me to what I'm going to spin next. I was kind of thinking about this because I probably won't finish it before I leave, and I am not taking my wheel with me to California. So whatever I spin now, I'll probably start on and then finish when I get back. And I had a bin of things that I kind of picked out to spin this year, and I've sort of alternately been pulling new fibers in and trying to spin things that I think would be great for the shop. And I have a few things left in the bin that I would really like to spin before the year is up, so I'm pulling them out. One of them is some fiber that I dyed myself. I dyed it at a retreat about 1.5 years ago, and I wasn't super happy with it when I finished. I dyed it basically a chestnut brown, and then I went to a friend's house and we did some over dyeing for a day, and I over dyed it with red and fuchsia, and now I'm a little bit happier with it. It is merino. It's probably some nondescript merino. It was included in my my bag of goodies for registering for the retreat. And you can see that there are some bits that are very red, and there are some bits that are just a little bit pink, and then there are some bits that are still kind of that chestnut brown. So this is 8 ounces of merino. I wanted to spin this up this year. I will see how it comes out, whether I think it's nice enough for the shop. It may go into the shop. If it does, it will be a larger quantity. So if you're looking for a bigger project, that might be nice. Otherwise, I will just spin it up and use it for something for my own use. It is definitely merino because it is next to the skin soft. So that is what I'm going to work on next, and it's actually kind of color appropriate for the holidays, so that will be kind of fun to have on my wheel. So that kind of concludes most of what I had prepared for knitting and spinning, but I have 2 other things I would like to talk about. The first one is, if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you probably saw this week that I started a knit along, or really a craft along, in my group. I was hoping on Ravelry. I was hoping to do something where we could kind of all get involved in doing a knit along or craft along together, but with where we are in the year and that everyone's busy either making sweaters for Nanny Swaymo or is busy working on gifts for the holidays, I really wanted to pick something that would be easy and potentially something that everyone was already doing, because I thought the idea of a new pattern or a new knit along might be daunting. So I called it the gift along, knit along. And again, I will accept pretty much any craft. You can sew, you can crochet, you can weave, you can spin. I have very few rules. I don't particularly like rules. I opened the thread on November 12th, so anything from November 12th through December 31st is fair game. Works in progress, entirely fair game. I don't want you to just pull out something that you didn't weave the ends in on and call that a whip. But if you have a pair of socks and you knit one sock and are working on the second, totally fair game. The only rule is that it can't be for you. It has to be for someone else. It doesn't even have to be a Christmas gift. It's just this time of year, most of us are doing a lot of crafting for other people, quite a bit for the holidays, but it doesn't necessarily have to be for the holidays. So anything that you finish between November 12th and December 31st, you can post a picture in the finished objects thread as many times as you have finished objects, and at the end I will draw for some prizes. So far I have offered 2 winners will each receive a Ravelry pattern of their choice up to $10, and 1 winner will receive a skein of sock yarn from my stash. I haven't picked out which one yet, although I promise it will be the good stuff. So I have started a chatter thread over there so we can talk and post progress pictures. And then I have also started a finished objects thread so you can start posting in there as soon as you finish things. So again, this is projects you're already planning. No need to come up with something special. If you have not or are determined not to knit for other people, which is totally fine, might I suggest you could earn an entry by knitting a hat for charity, knitting a toy for charity, or for someone in your family. It can be something very small. The idea is just that it needs to be something for someone else. So that is, both of those threads are stickied in the top of the Ravelry group, so please come over and join us. And if you're in the middle of crazy gift knitting, come over and commiserate and show us what you're working on. So that is number one. Number two, I have been promising for a while now that when we hit 250 subscribers on YouTube, that there would be a prize. We hit 250 subscribers this week, and I am so excited. Thank you all for coming and spending time with me each week, wanting to watch me, leaving me comments, being part of the Corner of Knit and Tea community. I, like I said, wanted to do a prize giveaway. This will probably be the last one on YouTube. I haven't decided entirely, but I think I may run future ones through the Ravelry group. However, the 250 member giveaway, or 250 subscriber giveaway. The prize is the following. It is a bump of Hello Yarn. It was the Fiber Club for July 2014. It is blue-faced Leicester wool top, and the color and the name is Headbanger. It is blues and greens and browns and even some oranges. So, what you do to win this. You leave a comment on this episode on YouTube. I won't be responding to comments this time so as not to throw off the random number generator. So leave me a comment. Tell me something you enjoy about the show. Tell me something you would want me to talk about in the future. Tell me what you might do with this fiber. Leave a comment and I will draw from all the comments. I will probably close it next weekend and do the drawing, and the winner will be announced on the next podcast. Here's the deal on the fiber. If you win and you are a spinner and you would like to spin the fiber yourself, I will send you the fiber so you can spin it. Hello Yarn's a little hard to get, and these are club colorways, so I will certainly understand if you want to spin it yourself. If you are not a spinner, or even if you are, and you would like me to spin it for you, I will spin it as soon as I come back from vacation. So it will be the first thing on my wheel as soon as we get back. It will probably take me about a week to spin, and then I will go ahead and send it out to you. So either way, you're getting Hello Yarn fiber. It's your choice as to whether you would like to spin it up or you would like me to spin it up. So, and these are the colorways. Okay, so leave a comment on this episode. As I said, it will be open for a while, probably until right before I decide to record next, but call it around a week from today that I will probably be closing it. So, that is the end of the episode. Please come join us in the Ravelry group. Don't forget to enter for a chance to win the fiber or my handspun, whatever you would prefer. And I hope that you have a wonderful holiday. If I don't talk to you before then, enjoy the time spent with your family, particularly if you're in the United States. If you're outside the United States, I know that Thanksgiving is not typically a holiday that you celebrate, but enjoy your time crafting. And until I see you again, I say happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.